Our early ancestors were hunter gatherers. A primary threat to their basic safety was snake bites and poisoning. Hey friends, this seems unbelievable. Our hospitals originated in the cobra-bite poisoning treatment. And beyond that, the cobra and the snake remain as some of the earliest words of human speech. Quite fascinating, right? Greetings to you. I am Tom Chiragara. Welcome to the original meaning of hospital. We have unlocked the hospital codes in the source word hospital and in its pictogram, the caduceus. The hospital system is so basic, yet so enormous, significant, and advanced, and it should continue to be so for the future. Yet, we do not know the basic literal definition of the word, or its roots, or how it all came about. The word remains in common usage worldwide for over 500 years. Yet, we do not know its origins. Then, there are some unrealistic and unfathomable healing mythologies with cultural and historical origins. In the next few minutes, we will analyze the word to its core and explain the literal meaning of the word. Welcome to some of the great exploratory adventures in linguistic archaeology. To start with the analysis of the origins, there are a couple of things we can presume. In the ancient, the patients were traditionally cared for at their homes. The healing practitioner had to come to the house of the patient to treat the sick person. But we see an exception to this in the ancient snakebite poisoning treatment. In the case of snake bites, the bitten person had to be taken to the treatment practitioner, and the patient stayed at his house or in adjacent quarters until he was treated and healed. And we can make another inference as well. From the snake on the staff logos that are widely used in the medical systems and based on their associated mythologies, we can ensure some direct relevance of snake to the hospital. These two basic observations serve as historical pointers to the origins of hospital. We will come back to this after a brief etymological review of the word. Hospital is an English Spanish Portuguese word with the same spelling and similar pronunciation in each of these languages. Present day etymological analysis of hospital takes us only a few centuries back to its Latin origins with roots hospite and hospice. However, these words are etymological derivatives rather than serving as roots for the word. Our next option is to look for cognates or roots in other Indo-European and Afro-Asiatic languages. Such a search leads us to a direct and easy find of its source word aspatal in the Hindi and other Indic languages. These Indo-Aryan languages are derived from the Sanskrit, which itself had descended from the Proto-Indo-European language. That takes the origins of the word and its components or roots back to at least the first millennium BCE. However, as we continue with the analysis, we will realize that the fundamental roots in hospital had originated in the single origin proto-language in Africa many millennia ago. The roots of the word hospital remain embedded in all three linguistic families, the Afroasiatic, the Dravidian, and the Indo-European. We will present invincible evidences in tracing the roots and morphemes to the ultimate origins of human speech development. We will be explaining this in a series of short videos. Let us leave the word origin here for now and come back to the roots and their meanings. At the primary level, the word hospital breaks up into three roots or base words. Each of these base words split up further at the secondary level into their morphemes or basic meaning units. These morphemes are in fact sound units that had served as origins of human speech. Let us analyze the compound word hospital via its Hindi source word aspatal and its roots in the Sanskrit language. The roots in aspatal are asp, pat, and al, with each of them serving as a meaningful element in the compound word. Modern dictionaries define the asp as a word from the antiquity. Asp means the cobra and elapid, a highly venomous snake. The word had become mostly extinct a few millennia ago, but barely survived. However, the word asp or aspa remains at the root of many modern words without us realizing that fact. The second root is pat, and its variants exist in several Afro-Asiatic, Indo-Iranian, and Dravidian languages. The words pathan and fethan are used in Old Hebrew to refer to the cobra in the Bible. The word path and its allomorphs mean the expanded hood of a rearing cobra. The Sanskrit dictionaries define the word fatha as expanded hood of cobra. Thus, the compound word aspath means a hooded cobra. The aspath depicts a cobra bite and its emergent and swift deadliness. Numerous aspath seals, sealings, and impressions belonging to the 3rd millennium BCE were unearthed at the Harappan sites as well as at the Mesopotamian and Egyptian sites. Also, the Egyptian pharaohs of the same time period had traditionally adorned their crowns with an element called the uraeus. The uraeus is an image of the aspect, the expanded hood of a rearing cobra. The morphology of uraeus can be independently explained both in the Hebrew and in the Dravidian languages. Now that we have defined aspect, we can move on to the third root al. The root al, along with its variants alay and alaya, mean a house in both Indic and Dravidian languages. Several allomorphs or the variant word forms of al are now in common usage in the Indian subcontinent. Sanskrit, Indic, and Dravidian dictionaries all define the word al as a house or a dwelling. The base words al and aspa have very interesting morphologies that can be traced directly to the very origins of human speech. These narratives on the three roots lead us to a very logical and revealing conclusion that the word hospital or aspatal means a cobra hood house or a cobra bite healing house. The poisoning treatment systems of the ancient and prehistoric times involved the house of the poisoning healer along with its attached quarters. The patient had to stay at the residence of the poison remover person and had to be monitored by him into a full healing before he could leave. Also, it is quite reasonable to presume that the snakebite treatment system is as ancient as human existence. Thus, we see that the patient stay or inpatient treatment system had evolved from the cobra bite care and recovery in the prehistoric period. This had served as the basis and origin for the word aspatal and in turn for hospital. With such complete and distinctive morphological explanation for aspatal, we can unquestionably conclude that hospital is a direct borrowing of the Hindi word aspatal. The word aspat has been depicted on numerous hieroglyphic artifacts of the Nile Euphrates Indus Valley civilizations from the 3rd millennium BCE. The word asp is deeply rooted in the Indo European, the Afro Asiatic, and the Dravidian linguistics. Considering the etymology of hospital, we can easily conclude that the word aspa comes directly from the single origin African proto language. The two latter roots, patha and al, are in common usage in modern Indic and Dravidian languages. Thus, we see that the word aspatal and its roots are founded on sound, cultural, historical, and linguistic elements rather than evolving out of Greek mythologies and Hebrew theologies. But these legendary stories and myths do have some direct relevance to the hospital and its roots. We will explain this in the next few slides. And now let us move on to the decoding of the mysterious caduceus. There are two snake-based symbols that are commonly used by the medical community. The first is the two-winged two-snake magic wand called the caduceus. And the second one is the single snake entwined Asclepius staff. The medical community is mostly divided as to which one is a true or relevant representation. Contrary to the popular notion, we acknowledge that the modern symbolism of the three-element caduceus as a staff is a direct and complete pictorial representation of the word aspatal. The snake reads as aspa, the staff signifies the word pat, and the wing-like glyph symbolizes al. The staff and the wings are pictorials of the xenophonic words for pat and al respectively in the Dravidian languages. Xenophones are similar sounding words but differing in meaning and spelling. The creators of the hieroglyphs and hybrid pictures of the prehistoric period had a practice of using a picture representing a certain word to depict another similar sounding word. That explains the use of xenophones in pictography of compound words and phrases in the ancient. Complex, multi-animal figurines and statuettes are historical examples of such, and they were fairly common, especially in the pre-writing period of human development. This was particularly important toward creating and communicating phrases. The three elements, the snake, the staff, and wings, combined into the caduceus, is a perfect pictogram of the word aspatal. It is a pictorial of the phrase Cobra Hood House. Via this publication, we have established some basic clarity with the literal definition of hospital along with its symbols. We have presented the etymological roots at the very basic level only. The ultimate source word for hospital is Aspatiri in the Dravidian languages of southern India. Aspatal is merely a borrowing and assimilation of the Aspatiri. The words Aspatal and Aspatiri, along with the base word Aspa meaning cobra, provide a direct pathway to the very origins of human speech in Africa. For an expanded linguistic analysis, please watch our video titled Eureka in the Etymology of Hospital. We wish you the best of learnings in linguistic archaeology and to the very origins of human speech. Bye to you and namaste.